Okay, we came out here really quietly because the horn in the Volvo is in silent mode. It's in silent mode. I just thought we'd try it at night because I tried it today and it was, no matter what I did, I could push anywhere on here with the key on or off and it's absolutely silent. So I thought maybe I'd sneak out at night and see if it was any different. But as you can see, it's still locked in silent mode. And I'm back. Okay, so you can push on the horn anywhere. Not working. Key on, key off. Anywhere you want. Nothing happening with the horn, okay? All right, let's figure this out. Okay, so the first thing to do is check the fuses because it could just be a fuse burned out. And on this Volvo, there's 3 fuse panels. There's one here in the door jamb of the driver's door, right here. And there's a legend, and it shows you what fuse is in what position. This, however, is not where the horn fuse is, but I thought I would show you. There's a second fuse panel in the back on the driver's side, right here. That's for controlling circuits near the rear of the vehicle. But the fuse panel that we're looking for is under the hood, right here. Okay. And similarly, it has a legend in here that'll tell you where the fuses are. In this case, fuse number 9 right here is the horn. Okay, and you can see how that little diagram shows the layout. So number 9 right here is this fuse here, this 15 amp fuse. Fuse panels these days usually come with this little tool to extract the fuse. All right. Now we can see that that is a continuous filament in there. See that little shape there? So it's not broken, it's not burnt. And if the fuse was blown, that would be open. There would be no continuity between this leg and that leg of the fuse. So that wasn't the problem. Okay, that goes back in there. Fuse is good. Now the next thing we want to know is if the relay is going to be getting power. Okay, so we want to check the relay. So how do we know which relay is which? And let me explain for a second what a relay is and how it works. Okay, so I've just made a simple sketch to show how your battery and the fuse and the relay and the horn switch work to operate your horn. Okay, so you got your battery down here. It's grounded to the chassis of the vehicle. That's the symbol for grounding right there. There's your fuse. This is the relay. Here's your horn switch. It's down inside the steering wheel. It's a momentary contact switch, meaning that it's normally open. And when you would push on it, it would close it momentarily. But the minute you let it go, a spring returns it to the open position. Then over here you have your horn, and the horn is grounded to the chassis of the vehicle, which comes back to the battery. Okay, so you have battery voltage available. And if the fuse is good, it passes through the fuse. And it comes up here and it's available to a terminal on this side of the relay, right here. But it doesn't go anywhere yet. There's another line that comes into here on the relay through a little coil, and it's sitting here available to go to ground when this switch is closed. Okay, so you push your horn button, and what it'll do, and you can see here I drew a closing of that. So you've just pushed your horn button, you're holding it closed, okay? It's closed this circuit. So now battery voltage will flow out through the fuse, through this line, through that little coil in the relay, and to ground. And what that does is that pulls 2 contacts together in here that are normally open. It closes those, and it allows battery voltage to flow through the fuse, through the relay, and blow the horn, make the horn work, and it goes to ground. You let your finger off of that, and the spring returns it to an open position, and it de-energizes this coil and allows those 2 contacts to separate, and that stops the horn. Okay, so now you know how a relay works. Let's look here. Signal horn. So that's FM12. So FM12 is this one right here. So it's the second one in that column. So it's the second one in. It's this one right here. You can hear the relay clicking when I push the horn. All right, so let's take that out. Let's push the horn button again. Nothing clicking. Let's try that back in there again. Okay, that's clicking. Okay, so a clicking relay can be working as it should. It could also be a defective relay. All right, so what you want to do in this case is often the relays are the same for different circuits inside of a vehicle. So we're going to take another relay here, and we're going to compare it. Compare the numbers on it, and it is the same relay. All right, so we're going to try a known good relay in that spot. And it's clicking similar, yet it's not blowing the horn. Okay. All right, put those back in there. Put those relays back. So in just a couple of minutes, we've quickly determined that the horn button seems to be working in the wheel, and the fuse isn't blown, and the relay's good. Okay, so we've got power right to here. So it looks like we've got a problem between the relay and the horn, and it could include the horn itself. Okay, and to access the horns on these Volvos, this grill piece comes out. So all you need is a flat blade, and let me see, I'm just using an X-Acto knife here. Just have to put a little tension pulling out here. There it is. All right, so there's 1, 2, 4 of those across the top, and there's 3 on the bottom. And now with that out, we get access to the horns right here. There's one here and one here. It just comes right out. That's the bolt there. All right, there's 2 horns, and they're both mounted the same. But let's just take a look at this one. Okay. There's a little clip here. If you push down on it and pull back on the connector, it releases. You can see there's 2 wires in there and 2 contacts for the horn. Now sometimes you see this horn here has got 2 terminals. Now that means it's going to have a positive and a negative. Sometimes it's not polarized, but it's going to have the positive and the negative. So it's grounded out through a wire. Sometimes you'll see a horn that's just got 1 wire going to it, which is a positive lead from the relay, and it's grounded through the body, through this bracket. So sometimes if the horn tests good outside, but it doesn't work in the vehicle, sometimes it's that the ground on the screw isn't good. So you can clean this up and try it again. Okay, so we'll get the screw out of that one. And the same thing. Squeeze and release. All right, let's test this and see if this horn's any good. Okay, horn seems to be fine. All right. Okay, so I've tested both the horns, and they're good. Okay, so let's retrace our steps. The fuse is good. The relay is clicking, and that tells us that the switch in the steering wheel is sending a signal to the relay. So that's all good. So we're good from the steering wheel through the fuse to the relay, and that's clicking. And we've tried another relay in its place, and it's clicking. So both horns out of the vehicle test functional. So what we've got is we've got a wiring problem between the relay and the horn in this case. Okay, so that wire goes up there, up into here. And this one on the other side goes up and it comes along here like this. It joins in and it comes back up here and it comes to a plug right here. And this is the plug coming from the relay. And it wasn't clicked in tight. It was loose like that. And it wasn't making contact. It was just a loose connection. So let me see if I can snap that in tighter. And we'll try the horn. All right, let's put the other horn in too. Everything looks good there. That seems perfect. I'm really glad that's fixed. I'll tell you why. Because the worst case scenario is not that you have to replace a horn or a relay or look at the wires or change a fuse. The worst case scenario in a horn that has the switch inside the steering wheel, it's when the clock spring fails. And what the clock spring is, it's down in here, and it's a coil of it's like ribbon cable, and it's allowed to turn with the wheel because it has to make a connection for these buttons and for the horn and all these things that are on the center of the steering column. And that can break. And if that breaks, it's not a cheap thing to fix. You got to pull the wheel off to do it. And it's not a clock spring. It's just I think they call it a clock spring because it resembles a spring wound up, but it's got no spring in it. It's nothing to do with a spring. It's just a little narrow ribbon cable with several different conductors in it that is coiled like this. And when it's installed, it's sort of coiled loose, so that when you can turn the wheel like to stop, like whatever, 2 or 3 turns this way till it stops, and then 2 or 3 turns the other way from center till it stops, that the ribbon cable doesn't bind on itself and break. A clock spring is not a fun thing to have to change, and not often very cheap either. You know, there's several $100s for sure. And I'm so glad that it wasn't the clock spring. I was thinking, you know, it might be, but that's fixed. Everyone needs a horn. The other thing with this car is the alarm system shows a fault when the horn doesn't work, because the horn, you know, sounds when the alarm's been set off. So for the longest time here, I had a warning that there was an alarm system fault. And one of the things with the alarm system can be the central computer unit for the car needs to be changed. And I'm so glad that it was just a loose connection in the horn, and everything else checked out, and it wasn't the clock spring, and it's not the, you know, so now the alarm system should come back on and be normal. But anyway, that's how that's done. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you again here very soon on Everyday Projects. Bye for now.